If it's Thursday, it's time for NSRLA. Happy New Year's, folks. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Sean Signori and Cam Gillens here in the Slingshot TV booth. And tonight, we are bringing you race number 9 of the Downtown Auto Sales National Series, live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. NASCAR has been racing at Charlotte since its inception in the early 1960s. Once adorned with rugged rocks and boulders, this sprawling 550-acre property, originally owned by North Carolina's very first governor, Nathaniel Alexander, also welcomed the presence of George Washington nearly 250 years ago. The track itself was meticulously designed and constructed by the dynamic duo of Bruton Smith and Curtis Turner. Turner, a renowned figure of his time as a moonshiner, had speed and handling at the forefront of his mind when conceiving this intermediate 1.5-mile track, featuring corners steeply banked at 24 degrees. Furthermore, the duo envisioned it as an ultimate test of endurance for both drivers and their machines, even playing host to the very first 600-mile race for stock cars. Decades later, Charlotte Motor Speedway continues to embrace innovation. In 1992, it made history by hosting the inaugural NASCAR night race. And back in 2011, it achieved a Guinness World Record with the unveiling of the world's largest HD TV screen at a sports venue spanning nearly 16,000 square feet. Sean, this track was a track that almost never was. After opening back in 1960, owners discovered massive amounts of granite needed to be removed, a very expensive process. As a result, it ran out of money less than a year later and declared bankruptcy. Fortunately for us, however, the track owners were able to quickly work to raise the money needed to keep the speedway open and make it into what it has become today. What are these drivers, Sean, going to have to do in order to make sure they don't go bankrupt out on the track tonight and make it to the finish up front?
Well, Charlotte's known for its speed and known for being narrow, so you got to keep the nose on that thing and keep the car clean if you're going to make it to the end tonight. And if you can do that, I'd say you get a good top 10 finish out of this deal.
Well, keeping the nose clean is going to be one of the many things these drivers have to do over the course of 117 laps out here tonight. We're going to talk about some of those other things, those stories to follow in the point standings with just 4 races remaining in the regular season before the playoffs begin. We'll talk about all of that, but we're going to do it after everyone's favorite pre-race tradition. Folks, rise and remove your caps for the first time of the year for the playing of the national anthem. We'll be right back. Back here live in Charlotte Motor Speedway, just moments before the green flag. Lots of stories to check in with. Sean, the first one, I know you're just kind of standing in tonight. You've done a couple races this season. You've seen some of these names, but the points action is heating up. Just 4 races left before the regular season concludes at Darlington Motor Speedway, and you've got a handful of drivers with a little bit of time running out. But let's look at the rundown. Donnie Honeycutt, Tyler Honeycutt. Tyler Honeycutt hasn't made it to victory victory lane tonight. He's been fast in practice. Tonight could be his night. But what do you got to do? Who are you nervous for in the points? What position are you most concerned about with if you are a driver right now, Sean, with just 4 races left in the regular season?
Oh, I'm looking at Bradley Minor right there in that 12th position, right there on that cutoff line. He's got Dustin Lewis and Vincent Short right on his tail. 11 and 14 points. That's nothing. He can lose that all in just a couple laps here at Charlotte.
Bradley Minor, one of those drivers to watch out for. Another driver to watch out for, Evan Janik, 2 wins in a row. He's vaulted himself outside of the top 12 all the way to 5th in the past couple of weeks with a pickup of wins at Watkins Glen and Bristol going back to back. Can he do that again tonight? We're going to have to wait just a little bit longer to find out, but that brings us to some of the stories we're going to be keeping an eye on for you fans watching at home, wondering what's going to happen tonight. Well, first of all, we don't really have much of an idea, but we've got some things that we all can kind of pay attention to and watch. And the first story, Sean, that I know you're keenly aware of as a driver on the iRacing service, managing those tires. Why is it so difficult to do that here at a track like Charlotte?
Charlotte's just got so much speed, and you carry so much into the corner with this fresh pavement, and it's really easy to burn up those right front, and especially that right rear as you start moving up towards the top lane. And so the tires can go very, very quickly here. And Charlotte's one of those places, I'll say time and time again, where you don't know if you're pushing the car hard because it just naturally wants to go fast around this place.
Sean, you mentioned one of those things about moving up the track. Some drivers might move up the track later and run. Some might start there. Which groove is faster here? And is there any sort of risk versus reward when it comes to switching lanes?
The high line's always pretty risky because, you have guys coming up off the bottom in front of you, off turn 2 and off turn 4. But as to which lane's faster, I guess that just depends on who's the driver.
I like to be up top, but I know it's going to probably use a little bit more tires. We're probably going to see several drivers trying to make those passes, like you mentioned, up top. And then we talked to drivers in pre-race, Sean. They've talked about this is a night race. It means a cooler track, which is going to lead to a lot more grip, a lot higher speeds, which inadvertently is probably going to raise the confidence level of some of these drivers a little bit with that grip they're going to feel in those Goodyear tires. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for 117 laps of racing here around Charlotte?
I expect some 3 wide moves going to the bottom, going up through the middle. Like you said, that confidence is going to be high tonight, and you just don't know how fast you're going here until something happens.
And then lastly, the playoff bubble. We kind of mentioned it just a moment ago when talking about standings, but you've got drivers that are really, really close on the bubble. We'll just revisit those points for just a second. You've got drivers like Dustin Lewis, Vincent Short, Alex Pollock, Tyler Hensley. They're all within striking distance over the course of 4 races with a win or a couple of top 10s. Any of those 4 drivers could potentially vault themselves back up into the top 12. You mentioned Bradley Minor, Tyler Merkel. Those are 2 drivers that are kind of right on the cusp there. But even going all the way up to Blaze Baker and Ryan Bittler, 8th through 16th is anyone's game, Sean, with just 4 races moving forward. Does that change the way that you race? Let's say you're a driver that is somewhere, 11th through 14th. How are you racing? What's the mentality that you have going into the first of 4 final races before the playoffs?
Oh, they might be playing it just a little bit extra safe tonight just to ensure that they make it to the end of this race. But as you just said, those guys 13th through 16th in the standings, they're all very capable, and they're all one of those types that can go out here and win a race.
Well, speaking of winning, folks at home, we appreciate you giving us your time on New Year's Day. We hope everyone has had a great New Year so far. We're going to have some New Year's themed trivia over the course of the night. We're going to play a couple of games in the chat. Keep those comments coming. If you comment in the chat, we want to hear it. We want to know who you're rooting for. We're going to give away a free Kyle Busch diecast to one lucky fan tonight. Whether you're a Kyle Busch fan or not, it's a pretty good looking diecast. So be on the hunt for that. Be on the lookout for that. Keep those comments coming. We want to hear from you, hear how maybe what your New Year's resolution is. We'll talk about that later on. But right now, let's send it down trackside with just a minute left in qualifying. Little interesting thing we have going on here, Sean. The guy who's normally in the booth, Chris Smith, we didn't say why he wasn't here tonight, but we can go ahead and talk about that. He's going to be racing in that number 17 machine. You're going to see him this evening. He's looking pretty good right now in qualifying. He's laid down the fastest lap so far. Sean, if this is Chris's first time racing with these guys this season, how do you approach that from the driver's perspective, not only from the guy who's not used to racing with these folks, but the guys who aren't used to racing with him?
from Chris's perspective, you got to go out there and lay a can of whoop butt on them. Make sure they remember that name, then that number 17 car. And that's for the guys behind him that are going to be chasing him. They don't know what to expect. But we know Chris, and we expect, some pretty good driving out of him. And I think he's going to be the guy to beat tonight.
Yeah, I think he's going to be certainly one of the ones that we're going to be following. We'll go ahead and see if we can't pull him down here into the chat. It looks like he is going to lock up the pole with that lap he ran. So we'll go ahead and send it trackside, and we'll hear from, see if we can't get the driver, the number 17, in the booth. Chris Smith, driver 17. This is Ellison, Sean, and Cam in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, hey, man, you're making it look pretty easy right now. We're concerned about whether or not you're going to make the grid. 28 drivers make the grid. 29 showed up tonight. I don't think you had much to be concerned about personally because you are going to be sitting on the pole. Walk us through that qualifying lap and just how tough it's going to be around out here for 117 laps tonight.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's definitely pretty edgy on the first couple laps, and the first lap out there was pretty free, and on the second lap, the money lap, it was also pretty free then too. So it's not as bad with the smaller fuel cell, but yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can keep it on track the whole race and have a good night tonight.
Is there anything we should be looking out for from the fans' perspective in terms of how these cars are handling or where we think we're going to see much of the action tonight?
Yeah, it seems like turns 3 and 4 is a lot tighter. It seems like it feels like it's a lot more narrow also down in turns 3 and 4 compared to turns 1 and 2. So I think 1 and 2 might be a good passing zone, a good area that I'm going to be looking to possibly pass, maybe up on the high side there. So want to keep it on the bottom there to conserve the tires. But, you definitely have a passing lane up high in 1 and 2.
All right, man. Well, we'll be checking in with you throughout the race. Good luck out there tonight. We're supposed to be impartial, but, we'll be rooting for you. And hopefully you put on a good show out there.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. All right, so you heard from Chris Smith there. Used to hearing his voice in the booth, but tonight we're going to be hearing it from inside the car. Let's go ahead and look at that starting grid right now, just going through the first 5 rows or so. You heard Christopher Smith. He is fast tonight. He's looking to see if he can't get his first win, his first start of the season. He starts first. Second's going to be Christian Barnes. We've seen him be super fast. Hasn't won a race this season, but tonight might be his opportunity. Evan Janik in that number 60, Mr. Back-to-Back. He's going for 3 in a row tonight. He starts on the inside of row number 2 from third. Donnie Honeycutt, Rockingham winner, points leader. Can he maintain? He's starting from the outside of row 2. He comes from 4th tonight. Travis Bieber, a driver we've seen so fast with so much promise, hasn't got that win tonight. Could be the night he starts 5th. Brett Bieber, he starts 6th. Maybe a little bit of sibling or relative rivalry there. Michael Wade in the number 16 comes from 7th tonight. To his outside, it's going to be Tyler Honeycutt in that number 54. Brock Whiteman starts 9th in the 41. And then Tyler Hensley starting on the outside of row number 5. He's coming from 10th.
11th position is going to be Jerry Salidas in his 63 car. 12th spot is going to be Vincent Short in the 55. Mark Cofield in the 97 is going to be starting 13th, and Tyler Merkel 14th. Andy Berry, owner of this league, is going to be starting 20, and the 21 car is going to be starting 15th. Gino Volante in 16th. David Moyer is going to be starting in 17th, and Harold Tucker III in 18th. Cody Riggs in 19th, and Adam Pettit going to be starting 20th tonight.
Stephen Gill coming from 21st. Brandon Vies has shown moments of incredible speed the past couple of races. Can he capitalize on that momentum tonight? He starts 22nd. Alex Pollock, another driver we'll be keeping an eye on, starts 23rd. Jacob Cochran, look out for that number 8. It won't take him long to move to the front from 24th. You'll see the rest of the grid scrolling across the screen right now. The pace car makes that left-hand turn down pit road. Chris Smith leads him to the green flag. We're green flag racing for the first time in 2026 here at Charlotte.
Oh, big checkup in the back. We got a car in the wall coming across the line.
Didn't take long. Caution
out,
is out for the first time as drivers cross the line under chaos. We'll see if we can't figure out what exactly happened here. It just took moments of crossing the stripe to see chaos in the new year. First crash of 2026. Let's see if we can't find out what happened. It started maybe with the 63 potentially.
Looks like just both lines getting checked up there at the start and running over into the back of each other just caused a little bit of a mess there. Don't see too much damage throughout the pack, but you're going to have a couple guys here already down a couple minutes of damage here to begin this race.
Yeah, early issues going on. Watching the leader right now, Christian Barnes, second place. We'll see if we can't get a replay here potentially to see. It's just a stack up, and the biggest news I think that comes from that is not only do we have a couple of cars get damaged, but we also saw Jacob Cochran, who had started deeper in the pack, who was going to be probably a car that was going to move through the field pretty quickly, have trouble here. So something to keep an eye on for sure. We're sorting out some technical issues, folks. We're going to try to grab the replay for you here in just a moment. Yeah, the 63, I believe that was back in, let's see. Who's the 63?
It's Jerry Salidas.
Jerry Salidas. Just kind of like you mentioned, stacked up, Sean, and then the rest was history. So, folks, we're going to step away just for a quick moment, see if we can't get some technical issues resolved. We are going to wait here from our partners here at downtown Whiplash Simcams, I should say, and we'll be back here in just a moment. Back here live in Charlotte. You saw that first caution, a little bit of a stack up that started with 63 there. A couple cars got involved in it, but we are looking to get things going, get a little bit of momentum going. Chris Smith, you saw, really didn't have much of a chance to get away from the field, nor did Christian Barnes. Those two drivers first and second. Evan Janik in third, Donnie Honeycutt fourth. The top four has really not changed, Sean, and not that it really had a whole lot of time to potentially change here, but just while we're waiting on these drivers to take the choose rule, go ahead and remind fans at home, we got some comments already coming in from Johnny Rapp. We got Dustin Lewis in the chat wishing he could ring in the New Year's with a race, but he's just watching tonight. Appreciate Dustin tuning in. Connor Lyons, hopefully your 2026 has started off well so far. Commando Griff says, hey, love Charlotte. Definitely a racer's track, multiple grooves. You bet. We are going to be looking at those drivers running high and low all night. And then Cage Grinnell rooting on Christian Barnes in that number 27. Those folks are entered in to win that Kyle Busch diecast. Keep those comments, folks, coming. We are going to be looking at what you have to say and asking you a few questions tonight. Let's go ahead and start off. I'm curious what everyone's New Year's resolution. What are your goals for 2026? Let's hear them in the chat right now, watching these drivers work their way down the backstretch. Sean, what are you telling the driver if you're on top of that pit box? They had a green flag run for about half a lap. How difficult is it for the driver to kind of do that over again for what essentially amounts to the second start of the race?
It's not too difficult compared to the original start. It might be a little difficult if you had picked up a position or lost a position and now you're in a different lane. But now you kind of know what to expect and maybe take it maybe just that little bit easier on this start after seeing the stack-ups in the last one.
Driver's definitely going to be probably hanging their a foot over that brake pedal and getting ready to go green one more time. Chris Smith and Christian Barnes lead him down. The restart's on Smith. He's in the restart zone halfway through. He mashes that throttle. Now we're green flag racing once again here from Charlotte. Smith gets away. He gets the whole shot with a head of steam. Evan Janik and Christian Barnes battling for second down into turn number one.
Janik wasting no time. Big run for him coming off of turn two. He's going to be all over the back, moving to the inside of Christopher Smith. Going to have the nose underneath him going down to turn three. New leader. It's going to be Evan Janik in that 60 car. 2 times
Evan
in a row. He's
Janik
going to be going for 3.
Evan Janik takes the lead in turns 3 and 4. Chris Smith about 2 car lengths back. The battle's on for 4th position. Donnie Honeycutt and Brett Bieber side by side. Bieber, that blue, red, and yellow machine on the inside, working his way underneath Donnie Honeycutt. Moved Bieber in the 32 up to 4th place.
He's been the big mover so far. Actually picked up a position on that first little run that we had there. Now he's up another one. 2 spots here in about 2.5 laps. We'll be looking for Brett Bieber maybe to make a statement tonight. Try to get up here and race for the win.
Brett Bieber doing everything he can do, but Donnie Honeycutt works his way by. Bieber trying to get up into the 4th position once again. Right behind Bieber, it's Michael Wade in that number 7. Folks, you can see we're having some severe technical difficulties. Bear with us. We're going to try to get those worked out. New year, new gremlins for iRacing. We'll see if we can't resolve those. Bear with us. I know, right? Adam Holston saying really glitchy. In fact, we're going to take one quick break. We're going to step away to see if we can maybe reboot our system here and figure out what's going on. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, back here live in Charlotte. We maybe have worked out our New Year's gremlins. You can see Evan Janik leading Chris Smith, and these cars look like they're going a little bit slower, Sean, than last time we were live. What exactly happened to put us under caution?
Coming off the turn 4 there about 3 or 4 laps ago, the 53 and the 96 just made a little bit of contact. Pure racing incident. Everybody's going to live to see another day. Just an inconsequential caution. They should be able to get their damage fixed and get back out there.
Driver's going to make that choose rule right now. Evan Janik going to the inside. Chris Smith will take the outside. Third's going to be Christian Barnes on the inside. Fourth's going to be Donnie Honeycutt. Now, one driver I think we all need to keep an eye on. Back in the 9th position, Alex Pollock in that number 92 machine. That discount tire machine, he has been fast. And oh boy, keep an eye out for him because he came 14 positions within a span of about 10 laps or so. And I think a lot of that ground, Sean, was made up on the high line.
Definitely. He was using that high line to his advantage, getting his nose up on top of the cars, down using that bottom, and up 14 positions, starting 23rd and is all the way up inside the top 10. That's pretty damn impressive. He's going to be somebody that's going to have those guys up in the top 5 looking in their mirror here shortly.
No easy feat indeed. And right now, that 92 is the biggest mover of the race. Keep an eye on him, but we got to keep an eye on the front row because they're headed down into turn 3 to take our third green flag of the evening. 15 laps in. We're just about 15 laps from the conclusion of this 30-lap stage. Stage 1 awarding 10 points to the top 10, and those points do advance drivers into the playoffs. They count towards that, so every point gonna matter here. Pace car makes that left-hand turn. It's gonna be on Evan Janik. When he mashes that throttle, he does it halfway through the restart zone. We're green flag racing once again in Charlotte. Janik gets away cleanly. The battle's on for second between Christian Barnes and the number 17 of Chris Smith. Smith on the high line, Barnes on the inside. Smith wiggles just a little bit. He's got Donnie Honeycutt behind him with Tyler Honeycutt now looking 3 wide down the backstretch.
3 wide going into turn 3 rarely works out, but these guys all give each other plenty of room and it's going to make it work. I expect Chris Smith, he's not racing here for points. He might be taking it a little easy here, giving these guys plenty of room, knowing that they are racing for stage points that are more valuable to them as they are to him.
It's Smith on the high line, Tyler Honeycutt on the inside, and that number 54 side by side. Drivers not really lifting the throttle much here on lap number 18. Lap 17 of 117 tonight. 100 laps left. Long night to go, but Chris Smith falling back a couple of positions. How nervous are you, Sean, if you're in the middle of what amounts to a hornet's nest here on the front straightaway?
I'll be pretty nervous, but these guys, they race each other on a week-to-week basis, so they might be a little less nervous than I would be in this situation, knowing each other pretty well.
9 races in, these drivers have begun to figure out each other just a little bit. Chris Smith figures out that momentum off the high line. He's going to try to make the pass on Christian Barnes. Meanwhile, there's a Honeycutt battle right behind them. That's going on for the 4th and 5th position between Tyler and Donnie. 3 rows of side-by-side racing with Brock Whiteman and Travis Bieber not too far behind. Sean, we've seen a lot of grouping here tonight on the track. Why are these drivers so close and why are these packs so large here tonight?
Just the layout of the track. It's a 1.5 miles, pretty cool temperatures. I think everybody's on the same setup, so it's a whole bunch of point and shooting tonight. So you're not gonna see too much throttle play, and you're not gonna see too much braking, and everybody can just about hold the throttle wide open coming off these turns, and they're gonna be all over each other.
They are all over each other right now. You can see Tyler Honeycutt and the number 27 of Christian Barnes side-by-side racing. There's racing going on all around the track right now. It's hard to kind of take your eyes off of one particular spot. Travis Bieber bounces off the number 22 down the backstretch. You saw it there. Somehow manages to hang on to that number 23 red machine. He keeps it going. Bieber at the moment had been running 8th. He falls back to 10th with that little wiggle and save down the backstretch. He's got the number 41 looking to his outside right now.
Big move there by the 16 as well behind him. Michael Wade getting around Alex Pollock for that 8th position. You see, Alex really hasn't moved up as much as we thought he would here at the start of this run. maybe burnt up his stuff just a little bit too much there at the beginning, moving up into the top 10, and might not have enough to get through the top 10.
I was about to mention he did likely use up some of that Goodyear rubber in that first half of this 30-lap stage, and maybe he's hit the crossover point where the good's been knocked off, so to speak, right now. He's on the inside, but you see out front there, that's Chris Smith. He's in second place. This is a battle for second. You can see it's about 5, 6, 7 car lengths up to Evan Janik right there. He is your leader. Janik has won the last 2 races, Watkins Glen and Bristol, just a couple of weeks ago. Looking to go 3 for 3 of the last 3 races as he leads the way tonight, and he's in 5th in points, and just the momentum. I think Janik is a great example, Sean, of what momentum can do for you. Right now, as we watch a couple other battles on the track, that number 41 machine, I believe we're looking at
Brock Whiteman.
Brock Whiteman, yeah. He's making a couple of moves out there. He's moved himself up to the 7th position after starting 9th, so earned a couple spots moving forward. He's got that battle between Donnie Honeycutt and Shane Bieber going on right in front of him. Alex Pollock in the wall off of turn number 4 there. Dicey moments for some of the top 10 cars, and maybe some of that Goodyear good has been worn off as we see Pollock struggling with the handling just a little bit. You see Tyler Merkel there switching lanes, maybe looking to work his way by that ailing number 22 machine. Caution is on the speedway. We'll see if we can't find out what happened here just a moment ago to put us under caution. It looks like it might have been an issue potentially with Joshua Thornton and Gino Volante.
Joshua Thornton was the first caution tonight as well on that restart, so that's going to be 2 in a row for him.
Oh yeah, man, it looked like some contact with the 5 in Joshua Thornton might be kind of what caused us some issues there. You can see it on the replay. Sean, how difficult is it to avoid something like that as we watch that replay? Just kind of maybe checked up a little bit sooner. You see it bounced into the wall a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like the 5 car came up and he bounced off the door of the 5 and into the outside wall. 35 behind him, just nowhere to go. Ran into the back of Mr. Thornton and spun him around. Pretty popular crash here at Charlotte going down into turn 1. It really narrows up coming out of that second dog leg, and you're going to see a lot of cars make contact there tonight just going down into turn 1.
It puts us under our second caution of the evening, and that was with about 4 or 6 laps left in stage number 1. So as it always seems to be, we're going to have a 2-lap shootout to end stage number 1. And we mentioned points being on the line here for stage number 1. Every point matters with just 4 races left in the regular season. Is that a car I see coming down pit road? That looks like it's Chris Smith, bringing maybe a few others along.
Might be trying to flip the stage here, a little bit of a strategy call here out that 17, knowing these guys are going to be taking those stage points and pitting in about 6 laps. Pretty decent call, I'd say, out of Chris Smith. We see guys doing it on Sunday all the time in the Real Life Cup Series, and here he is taking advantage of the situation that has been presented to him and coming down and short pitting a little early.
Yeah, I think likely saw the opportunity to do something there, and Chris going to try to make use of some Goodyear tire freshness here as we likely will have a 2-lap shootout, and he's not going to use much of that in the lap and a half or 2 laps that we have under green. So I think I like this call. Folks in the chat, we got some comments coming in. Producer Cam, our friends in the chat, you'll be glad to hear it. They say that it looks like the gremlins are gone, and knock on wood, everything seems to be worked out for at least the moment. We got Commando Grift. He's the one who let us know those gremlins are gone. Appreciate him or them joining in tonight. Connor Lyons. Also, hopefully your New Year's going well, Connor. And Gage Grinnell says that looked interesting. Yeah, and with these big packs and these high speeds and lots of grip in these tires, those sorts of things are probably going to happen more than once tonight as we find ourselves under caution here on lap number 26. Folks, if you are watching, let us know what your New Year's resolution is. What are your goals? We had a couple come in just a little while ago. Going to try to pull those up on the chat real quick. Let's see. Go to the gym more consistently. I hear you on that. I absolutely hear you on that, Gage. Commando Griff says, finally break the 4,000 I rating. Easier said than done, but we wish you the best of luck. What is it right now? What do you got going on right now? I can't say what mine is. It's so low.
It's not it.
Whoa, easy now, easy now. I'm at 2,000. I think I might be at 2,100 actually. I don't do a lot of officials. That's my excuse though. I'm a league racer.
Can't get iRating outside of officials.
I know. They got to change that. We got to figure out a way to allow people to build their iRating without running some of those official races, which could be Wreckfest. But
one quick point I wanted to make before we go back racing here is Alex Pollock. He followed Chris Smith down pit road as well, so he's going to be flipping the stage as well. So Evan Janik, he's going to have himself quite a battle after these this caution for the stage here, and he's going to come down and get his tires here in a couple laps. He's going to have 5-6 cars in front of him before he gets to the back bumper of that 17.
And I really like that call for Alex Pollock based on how many spots. We talked Chris Smith had maybe, he started in the pole, he dropped back a couple spots, but Alex Pollock had vaulted his way up 10-plus spots during the race, so he's going to be able to benefit quite a bit from these pit stops here under the stage number 1 caution, which we're going to have just in about 3 laps. Right now, you're watching Evan Janik along with the number 54 of Tyler Honeycutt. Those are your 2 drivers on your front row. Once Evan Janik enters that restart zone, it's going to be on him to mash the throttle. There's that green Echo Park restart zone. Janik waits a little bit later this time. He gets away cleanly by about 3 or 4 car lengths. We're green flag racing once again here on Charlotte on New Year's Day. Tyler Honeycutt and Christian Barnes do battle. That's the battle for second. Barnes on the inside slides up just a little bit to the left side of that number 54. Honeycutt gets the run off the corner, move him up to third.
Janik is gone. They're not going to have a shot at him coming back around at 2 laps to go. Although Honeycutt is going to be able to clear the 27 Christian Barnes. If he is going to get a shot at the 60 car, he's going to have to get up on that wheel and get close to him here in the next lap and a half.
Yeah, and Evan Janik's run the fastest lap of the race. Tyler Honeycutt a little bit slower in terms of fastest laps. We'll have a better idea of what the last lap looked like. Honeycutt a little bit closer that time, but Janik looks to extend that lead. You're watching the battle of Christian Barnes and Shane Bieber. Side by side, Bieber in the red number 23 machine on the inside. That's a battle currently going on for the 4th position inside the top 5. Lap number 30 begins. It's the final lap of stage number 1. Drivers fighting for every point they can get here. Top 10 receive playoff points, or points towards the playoffs, with just 4 races remaining. Every point matters. Janik, no competition behind him, but this battle for third continues to intensify. There's also another battle going on a little bit further back in the pack, right outside the top 10. We'll keep our eyes on this battle for third, though. Bieber looks like he's got it. They come down the front straightaway. Evan Janik's going to win the stage.
Bieber just clips Christian Barnes there by a nose. Going to take away that 3rd position and gain, 8 or 9 points there on the stage.
Yeah, I definitely like that call indeed. Puts us under caution here for the 4th time tonight. You're watching Evan Janik work his way around the track, trying to catch back up to the pace car, which is going to be pacing the field for a couple of laps here. Stage 1, 30 laps. Also stage 2, 30 laps. It'll go to lap 60. 117 laps tonight. We're about a little over a quarter of the way through this race. Sean, what are your takeaways from stage number 1 in terms of what we can expect to see the rest of the night?
I'd say I'm pretty impressed with that 60 car of Evan Janik. Took away the lead on the first lap and did not look back. Seems to be the dominant car here at the moment. But going into this second stage, we're going to see some strategy play out with Chris Smith and Alex Pollock flipping the stage. It'll be interesting to see if Evan Janik can take advantage of his newer tires and get through these guys quickly, or is he going to struggle with the traffic?
Yeah, just looking at the drivers. Cofield, he's in 10th. He's come down pit road. Ryan Bittler's also come down pit road. He's 15th. Chris Smith is 16th with Alex Pollock 18th. So they're going to put themselves really, this call is going to really, I think, benefit Pollock in that 18. It's going to put him likely right in 4th or 5th position. So not only did he pick up those positions early on in the first 10 or 15 laps, but He's going to be vaulted up pretty highly here as we get ready to watch Evan Janik lead the rest of the field, all but a few 5-6 cars down pit road. And pit road is no easy task. I know they're going slower under caution. They're going slower on pit road, but drivers got to be careful not to slide over that line in their pit stall. They got to be careful not to be too far to the left to hamper their cruisability to put those tires on those cars. A fraction of a second can make the difference between first and second or even first and fifth on the track. And you can see Janik looks to have got in cleanly, and there is Chris Smith. Smith going to pull ahead. He will be marked as the leader, and Alex Pollock, second place. How about that call, Sean? I'm really liking that.
I'm liking that call out of him as well after he had tapped the wall and fallen outside the stage points there when that caution flew with about 6 laps to go in the first stage. So it was, pretty good decision by Alex, and now he's going to be all the way up on the front row, and he's going to have 3 cars behind him as a buffer to those cars like the 60 where they're going to have fresh tires.
I believe Stephen Gill in 5th position. He took right sides only potentially or no tires. Andy Berry also stayed out along with Adam Pettit in that number 96 machine. Shout out to the driver of that black and blue number 96. Haven't heard a lot from him this season, but currently a 3rd position run going after starting 20th. So keep an eye on that 96. And I'm curious if we might be able to grab a word with Chris Smith to check in with our in-race reporter here.
Just
and
to touch
Sean,
on
I'll let
96,
you.
he was also involved in that crash while we were away dealing with our technical difficulties. He was involved in that crash, so it's a great comeback there out of the 96 so far.
Even more impressive from Adam Pettit. Speaking of impressive, sat on the pole, back up to first with that pit strategy. Chris Smith, it's Ellis, Cam, and Sean in the booth. You got a copy.
I got you.
Hey, man, well, that first stage was wild. We saw you decide to come down pit road on that final caution before and flip the script here. Was that intentional, or are you playing the long game here?
Yeah, just figured got nothing to lose. I'm not racing for any stage points here like a lot of these guys are. So track position is going to be critical tonight, trying to maintain it. So definitely didn't want to restart about 7th or 8th here. So, yeah, we'll see how it all works out.
Is it just us, or is it kind of tense out there on the racetrack with this grip and maybe high confidence levels keeping these cars close together?
Yeah, it's pretty intense. You can definitely run both lanes, and both lanes have speed. So, yeah, it is intense, and I think a lot of drivers have a lot of confidence with all the grip that they have.
All right, well, keep that confidence going. Hopefully the grip keeps up, and we'll see you later on this race. We'll be keeping an eye on you, man. Good luck out there.
Sounds good.
All right, so you heard from Chris Smith. Nothing really that surprises us there. Talked about how intense this field was, Sean. Lots of good drivers out here, lots of grip, high speeds, cold temps. I think we're in for a great race for the remainder of the evening. It's going to be Smith and Adam Pettit on the outside of row 1. Smith will be the restart leader here. Pace car makes that left-hand turn down pit road. Chris will have to wait till he gets to that green Echo Park restart zone to mash the throttle on his command. We're green flag racing in Charlotte once again. Smith gets away cleanly. The battle is on down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Climbing the bankings, the number 96 of Adam Pettit. Alex Pollock in 3rd. He's looking down that inside line of that discount tire machine. 1 car off of turn number 2. 2 cars. Tyler Merkel and Brock Wypen collide to put us under caution here in Charlotte.
That might be what Chris Smith wanted to see, another cycle on the tires of the cars behind him. It's going to give him a little bit of advantage and even out the tire strategy. But as you see the replay right there, it looks like the 41 just got that little bit of a wiggle on those cold tires and spun out in front of that mellow yellow car that was sitting right behind him, a victim in all this.
An innocent victim as we watch that replay. Again, no one is safe here in these high-speed, big packs here. You can see the margin for error is nil. There is no room for mistakes, and a couple of drivers get caught up in a lap number 33 or 36 caution here at Charlotte. It's going to slow our pace down just a little bit, but we're going to keep the pace up, folks, in the chat. Excited for everyone to be joining us. Commando, Griff, Cage, Grinnell, Connor, Lyons. If you're watching and you haven't hit that chat, let us know who you are rooting for tonight. We got a little bit of a trivia question we want to ask you folks at home. We curated some New Year's themed trivia tonight, and This is an interesting one. I did not know this. We're going to throw it up on the screen right now. Make sure we got that going. Yeah, we do. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Type your answers in the chat, what you think the correct answer here is. The question is, NASCAR kicked off the 1963 season on New Year's Day at Savannah Speedway. Which driver took home the checkered flag in that race? You can see the question down there on the bottom line. 1963 New Year's Day, Savannah Speedway. Was it Richard Petty, Fireball Roberts, or Ned Jarrett? Which driver took home that victory on New Year's Day back in 1963? Now, Sean, I would not be surprised if you knew this. You are our NASCAR encyclopedia.
It could be any one of these three guys, Richard Petty, Fireball Roberts, Ned Jarrett, all three perennial drivers of the 60s. But I have I have a feeling that it is one of them more than the others. I just don't want to spoil it for anybody else in the chat.
We'll give folks a minute to get their answers in. We got Zap, Hat Trick, who are the Gremlins. The Gremlins are gone. The Gremlins were here earlier. But we hope, knock on wood, we hope they're gone. We got folks, Roberts is a popular answer. I've referred to him often as Legend Ball Roberts by accident. It was a slip of the tongue, but it's lived on in infamy moving forward. Fireball Roberts was one of your choices. Richard Petty, Ned Jarrett. We'll give y'all a couple more moments on this question before we reveal the answers. New Year's Day trivia we're going with here so far. Sean, you got any New Year's traditions or New Year's goals potentially for 2026?
Well, as for traditions, I think the only one I can think of is drinking alcohol, lighting off some fireworks, and being a little bit of a nuisance to my neighborhood. But yeah, for as a New Year's goal, I just try to make it to the next one. Life is tough out there for a whole lot of them. So if I can make it to the next New Year's, I'd say that's a success and that's a job well done.
I agree 100%. I just sat on the couch and watched TV. The older you get, the less exciting
college football
the
too.
New Year's gets. Yeah, I watched college football, a little bit of an upset with Miami and Ohio State fans. Hopefully everyone's okay after that one. But we'll go ahead and reveal the answer to this question. It was indeed Fireball Roberts. Lots of folks knew the answer in that one. Lots of folks got that answer correct. Good job on that, folks. You learned something new. We're always about watching fun racing and exciting racing, but if we can teach you a little bit in the meantime, we're also always glad to do that. So appreciate y'all joining in. We'll have some more questions in the chat later on. Keep an eye on the bottom of the screen, folks. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, make sure to do it. People ask, how can we support Slingshot TV? That is always the best way to do it. It doesn't cost you a single dime either. It just helps us get these races in front of more eyeballs to root your drivers on. Right now, Christopher Smith has a few fans in the chat. He's got a few fans in the booth too, I think. He is your leader. They're working their way through turns number 3 and 4. It's going to be a pace car peeling down to the left here in just a moment, getting ready to go green. Back green on lap number 39 of 117. Not quite halfway on New Year's Day at Charlotte. Smith watches the pace car peel off. He's got to deal with Alex Pollock to his outside. It's going to be on Smith to decide when to bring the field back to high speeds, and he does it there in the Echo Park restart zone. Smith gets away cleanly, and look at Adam Pettit working his way underneath Alex Pollock, who's going to lose a couple spots here on the restart. He's going to have to deal with Merkel. Sorry, not Tyler Merkel, that's Tyler Honeycutt, as they work their way down the backstretch.
Honeycutt, one of the leaders before the end of the last stage. He's on those fresher tires than the 3 in front of him. Only 3 laps fresher than Pollock, Pettit, and Smith. But as you see, Evan Janik also on those tires. Big run around the outside. Those two guys, they're going to be racing hard to be that first car on fresh tires.
Evan Janik, Tyler Honeycutt trying to pass each other on the racetrack, but only one car is going to be able to win that battle. And look at Evan Janik, shot out of a rocket ship. That shows you, Sean, just how valuable that outside line can be. We're under caution. One car sideways, I think. I'm trying to find where that spin might have happened. Potentially David Moyer, potentially. Yep, David Moyer. This happened on the front stretch. Jacob Cochran involved once again. This happened back around the 23rd position or so. I believe it started maybe with
Roy Sprague, yeah.
Yeah, the 59, and Jacob Cochran headed down into turn 1.
It looks like the 53 just came down into the 8 car there and sent them both into the outside wall. David Moyer nowhere to go. Slow car up there in front of him, though. I kind of caught the 53 out. Can't really tell who that is in the Bell South car. But just a little too much racetrack being used there out of Roy Sprague. Gets into that 8 car. And David Moyer nowhere to go there. Big crash out of the 8. Big crash out of the David Moyer. That's going to put a big hamper on their night.
It actually started in turn number 4 with Brett Bieber as he got high, wide, and handsome, got the wall coming on the front straightaway, and the momentum was just sucked out of that Bell South machine. And you saw drivers trying to weave their way around that ailing number 32 of Bieber, and that's what ultimately led to that collision. But it's put us under caution for the 5th time tonight. Lap number 41 of 117 here in Charlotte for Slingshot TV and NSRLA. It's the Downtown Auto Sales Series. Oh, and Chris Smith fakes out. A couple of drivers there on pit road. I'm wondering if those drivers had intended on going or if they were trying to follow Smith down pit road.
Oh, he got Adam Pettit hook, line, and sinker. Hell, if I was behind Chris Smith, I probably would have followed him down the pit road too.
That was about as close as it gets without actually coming down pit road. Pettit thought he was going to be following the strategy of the leader. He was a little bit lower and just ran out of time to decommit from pit road, and he was only one of 4 or 5 cars. Now, what I will say, Sean, for Adam Pettit, he had stayed out earlier. So I think this is probably part of that strategy call. I will say, though, we're a little ways away from lap number 60 and the end of stage number 2. So he's going to have to go a while and put a little bit of time on those new Goodyear tires. So we'll see how that works out for him. We'll keep an eye on Adam Pettit as the evening goes on. Boy, what do you think of? Go ahead.
Call there. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was going to work out for him there. With maybe he doesn't take tires. Maybe he's down there just trying to get some damage fixed and maybe go to the back and keep the car clean.
They are wondering how many sets of tires they get. And we'll see. Maybe we can take this opportunity.
4 sets for the race.
Oh, yeah, 4 sets, I believe, for the race tonight here at Charlotte. So tires are going to be a premium. Drivers got to make sure to hang on to those tires. And Gage in the chat, I should say, says that kind of looked like the 2013 Coca-Cola 600 crash, but with less cars. Boy, Gage, your memory is better than mine, my friend. I'm sure, Sean, do you remember that 2013 Coca-Cola 600
how can I forget?
Crash?
I was a Casey Kane fan. He led that whole damn race and lost it at the very end to Kevin Harvick.
Oh, I feel like Kevin Harvick has stolen some wins from some of our favorite drivers. I remember another one like that, the Daytona 500, where he stole it. Didn't steal it, but Mark Martin. He beat Mark Martin by just a foot across the line. And Chris, in that number 17, we're watching him there. We grew up together. I remember him watching that race and he was a Mark Martin fan, devastated. I think he probably has nightmares about it still today.
If I get around Kevin Harvick one of these days, I'll try to steal something back out of him.
The closer, Kevin Harvick.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, Time Changer 9162 says, watch Christian Barnes save right before the caution came out. And he said, this is Time Changer says, saved right before the caution came out to turn 1. Oh, potentially maybe setting up another tire strategy call. If that's what if you mean something else, Time Changer, let us know. But I think you're referring to potential strategy call from Christian Barnes there. And Barnes, I believe, currently Barnes running back in the 20th position. So
came down pit road last time around.
Yep. So we're going to find out if that strategy, we're skeptical. We're skeptical to say the least, but we're going to find out how well that strategy is going to work. So pace car getting ready to pull off another time here. Seen it do that a couple times. It's going to be Chris Smith and Alex Pollock once again on the front row. Smith, the control car, so to speak. He gets to decide when to mash that throttle and to let everyone else know we're back green flag racing. He does it. And we are green once again, lap 44 here at Charlotte. Smith gets away cleanly. Evan Janik looking for second place and more. Gets by a high-lined Alex Pollock and that number 92 behind him. It's a battle of the Honeycutts. Tyler and Donnie. The battle's on for 4th position. Down the backstretch, one car heavy into the wall. That's Vince Short. Head-on collision halfway down the backstretch. It's going to put us under caution once again. And the high speeds mean big crashes there. Vince Short. We'll see if we can't figure out what happened.
Vincent Short, one of those guys outside the cut line, needed a good run tonight to get into playoff position. Not gonna get it. coming off of turn 2 here. Looks like he had that 16 car underneath him. Just a little bit of contact coming off of turn 2. Maybe can't really see from that angle who used up more room than the other, but just contact nonetheless either way. Sends Vincent Short down into the infield wall. That's going to really kill that car. I don't think we're going to see much of him out there for the rest of the night.
Vince Short's night is going to be done. Now with 15 laps to go, Sean, does this change your kind of forecast for coming down pit road? If you want to flip it, do you think you can flip it here? And how important is it to do it? Because on lap 60, we'll have, 57 laps left, which is you could get by on a one stop in that run. So does this?
I don't know if I would flip it from here just because of, how many cautions we've tend to have so far in the back. I don't know if Chris Smith wants to get back there and end up with all these incidents happening right in front of him. He got kind of lucky in that first stage, having only a 3-lap run. And as I say that, I thought Alex Pollock was going to come down. He faked me out pretty good, but I'd say these guys need about 3 or 4 more laps before they even consider flipping the stage.
And it looks like most drivers are listening to you right now. Time changer. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, sorry, I was using voice to talk, but I was talking about turn 1. Christian Barnes got tapped in the rear and was fully sideways, almost being a caution. So big moment there for a top 10 driver in the points. Christian Barnes almost became a caution. Commando Griff, thank you for the subscription. Hardly any green flag laps this stage. Stay out. Clean air is king. This person knows what they're talking about. I like Commando Griff.
Yeah. Great minds think alike.
Indeed. I was looking at paint schemes earlier, and I thought I saw. We've seen some Greg Biffle paint scheme tributes out here tonight, but I saw a really cool one. I believe this was on the Mark Cofield, the number 97 machine. Is that an old Granger throwback running in the number 6th position? The 6th position, Mark Cofield, that number 97. I don't know if you can see that, Sean. Is that? I take that back. I might be wrong. I thought it looked like...
I saw one earlier, yeah, but it wasn't Mark. He was involved in one of the wrecks. I believe it's the 53 that had it.
Okay. He had that old Granger Xfinity Truck Series scheme. Always a classic. Run that one a few times myself. Right now, folks in the chat, appreciate you joining us. You can win that Kyle Busch diecast. We're going to choose one lucky viewer to send that diecast to at the end of the night. Make sure you get your comments in. Make sure you stick around. We're going to be asking some more trivia questions tonight. We're going to do a few other fun little things before we see lap 117. Drivers, I believe, going to be working their way towards the choose rule here. And interesting, Evan Janik likes that inside line, Sean. He's going to choose to line up third instead of taking that second spot to the outside of Chris Smith. What do you make of that call?
I think he knows he's got a little bit of more speed than Chris up here in front of him, a little bit better tire. Maybe follow him through turns 1 and 2 and get that run down the back like he did at the original start. I believe that's where Evan started on the original restart of the race here when he got by Chris going down to turn 3.
Commando Griff says going to allow him to take off with the leader. I think that's a good point as well, just kind of being able to time it. And we'll see if that works, if he can work his way underneath Alex Pollock. We saw Pollock struggle on the restart a little bit earlier, so we'll be keeping an eye on those top 4 drivers, really keeping an eye on the entire field. Brandon V's, I want to shout out 8th place. 8th place, Brandon V's in that number 65 machine, that Aflac machine. He has worked his way up 14 spots, and Josh Thornton right beside him, or in front of him, 19 spots. So some drivers have really, really been working hard and gone to the gym today, so to speak, when it comes to working their way towards the front. So some New Year's resolutions maybe working out here in Charlotte. Pace car is going to make their way down pit road here, getting ready for a lap number 48 restart. Chris Smith, Alex Pollock, get ready to see the green flag. They're in the restart zone. Smith waits till the very end. A little bit of a stack up behind him, but everyone looks to have gotten away cleanly on this one, as we have mentioned before. Evan Janik and Alex Pollock, that's the battle you see in second right now. Evan Janik on the inside, Pollock trying to hang to the outside, doesn't have the speed to do it. It's going to open the door for Tyler Honeycutt and Donnie Honeycutt in 4th and 5th.
Big run to the inside there. That is Tyler Honeycutt, like you just mentioned, underneath Alex Pollock. But as the laps tick away, these tires become more and more even. That 54 and the 22, they're going to have a harder time getting around that 92 of Alex Pollock.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. That strategy we saw Pollock go with, flipping the script earlier on in this race, really seems to have been a very bountiful call as they work their way down the back straightaway. Couple close battles going on. I'm keeping my eye back here on the number 41 and 79. Brock Whiteman, Harold Tucker, 13th and 14th. Some action going on back here deep in the field right behind them. That's the 63, I believe, and the number 6 racing side by side. Jerry Salidas and Tyler Merkel. Merkel to the outside in that mellow yellow machine. And you can see the momentum that outside line allows these drivers to carry, Sean.
Most definitely. You get to the outside line, you can really carry the speed down the straightaway. And if you get the nose alongside of somebody coming off the corner, you about have them cleared going into the next. As you see a big dive to the inside there by Christian Barnes in that 27. One thing I want to point out up front, Evan Janik has a mirror full of Alex Pollock in that 92. We haven't seen anybody pressure the back of that 60 car tonight, but right now he's getting a lot of pressure from that 92 of Alex.
And really, shockingly, Pollock's got older tires than Janik. So I'm wondering how much Evan Janik is just kind of holding on to those tires. We got 9 laps left, coming in 9 laps to go in stage number 2 before we enter that final portion of the race. Maybe Evan Janik just holding on to a bit, but as we ride on board with Alex Pollock, keeping a pretty straight wheel there, looking good after starting all the way back in 26th position tonight. Pollock easily the biggest mover of the evening, but he's got a mirror full. You can see right behind him, Tyler Honeycutt and Donnie Honeycutt have been hounding the back of that number 2 or 92 of Alex Pollock so far for the past couple of laps on this restart. And don't look now, but Mark Cofield right into the back bumper of Donnie Honeycutt.
And Mark taking his time, he sees them playing out and he sees them racing hard in front of him. He's not really putting too much pressure on the Honeycutts in front of him. He's just waiting for an opportunity to get a position or two. As you see Tyler Honeycutt going underneath Alex Pollock, they're going to be battling for third coming down the backstretch.
It's a third place battle down into turn number 3. The 92 climbs the banking. That's Pollock. He's dealing with Tyler Honeycutt on the inside in that black and white pink machine. Pollock might have gotten a little bit of the wall there. We've seen a couple of drivers do that over the course of these first 54 laps, and Pollock just doesn't have anything for Tyler Honeycutt nor his relative Donnie Honeycutt down there on the inside. Pollock giving up a couple of positions within about a lap, and he's going to have to deal with Mark Cofield before too long. Further back in the field, the racing is intensifying. Ryan Bittler and Brock Whiteman, that's a battle for the 12th and 13th position a little bit further back. And boy, that is intensifying side by side as they wind their way off at turn number 4. How easy or difficult, should I say, Sean, is it to kind of predict, what that driver's going to do coming off of a corner, particularly turn 4, whether they're going to sweep out towards the outside, whether they're going to keep it low, or maybe whether they're going to hit the wall? How dangerous is it to closely follow a driver like that?
It's pretty dangerous, especially in these Xfinity cars. They tend to have a lot of travel getting back into the gas, and some of them walk up the track, some of them get loose. And these Xfinity cars, they tend to have a mind of their own sometimes coming off these turns, especially for a place like here at Charlotte where you have so much speed and so much load unloading off the car as you come off of the turn.
Right now, drivers 5 laps left in this stage. Points on the line. We talked about the playoff bubble, so we watch a battle there continuing. Oh, one car! That's a 65 of Brandon Vees, and that might have been Joshua Thornton not far behind him. That was all going on around about the 10th and 11th position, and how he did not have a caution there, Sean, I do not understand.
It looked like Brandon Vees made a move there on Joshua Thornton and just got the nose chopped off there and ended up down there on the apron. Great job by both of those drivers not to make that a bigger incident than what it was.
Yeah, they definitely did a great job of hanging on to that and keeping us under green flag conditions. We've seen those go sideways literally a few times tonight. One car off the wall, that might have been Harold Tucker in that 79, just a little bit further back. Action settling down a little bit. Drivers maybe looking just to make it to the stage caution here, but I should say Cody Riggs and Alex Pollock, that's a battle going on. You see them sweeping off a turn 2, that red car sliding in front of the white number 92, who's now got Shane Bieber to deal with. Pollock bleeding spots here, Sean.
Yeah, we saw at the end of the first stage, he was bleeding a couple spots and it enabled him to come down, get those tires, and flip the stage. And we see it deja vu here again. He was started up there on the front row, not more than 10 laps ago, and here he is just barely hanging on to a top 10 position.
If anyone's going to flip the script, the window for that is closed. Race control is closed. Pit road with a lap and a half left in stage number 2. Chris Smith leads it. Evan Janik in second place. But the battle's on for third. You can see it on your screen right now. Third position, it's Honeycutt on Honeycutt action here, further towards the front. Oh, one car head on into the wall. That might have been Shane Bieber in that number 23. It was. Contact. It's going to put us under caution. They're going to actually let them run it out. That will be the end of stage number 2. And it ended in a calamitous and chaotic way for a couple of cars. What happened, Sean?
Going back and checking out now, looks like he had a little bit of contact there. That is going to be with the 16 of Michael Wade coming off of turn 4. Just looked like Michael Wade got a little bit too loose and hooked into the back of the 23. Sends him careening into that outside wall there in the dog leg. Sends the 23 around pretty quickly and right in front of traffic. I think he took out a couple more cars too that were just coming through in the back trying to get through that crash.
We mentioned the exit of turn 4 seems to be a hot spot for trouble tonight, and it struck again. Now, to set this race up, folks, what you're going to see happen here, under caution, stage 2 is concluded. Top 10, Smith, Janik, Honeycutt, and Cofield, Riggs, Pollock, Barnes, Thornton, and V's. Those drivers going to get points for finishing inside the top 10, counting towards their championship campaign in the regular season standings. You're going to see drivers come down pit road here. This will not get them to the end. They will likely have to make a stop about halfway through stage number 2, and that is if we go green. The window, we believe, is around 35 laps. So if a caution were to come out before, lap 82, Sean, I still don't think these drivers are going to have to make it. 82 is kind of the money spot if we get a caution. So right now, drivers coming down pit road here. Chris Smith, Evan Janik. Janik almost got in the back of the number 92 or the number 17 there for a second. And drivers working their way down pit road. Cam, you might be aware, but we do have the grid. There you go. Wanted to make sure you knew. Battle on pit road about to intensify here under caution. Drivers trying to be careful not to slide it into their pit stalls. Sean, how important has track position been tonight?
I think we've seen it be pretty important, especially to that 17 of Chris Smith. Kudos to him. He flipped the stage, was out there on older tires and won it, was able to hold off Evan Janik. And it seemed like that last 10-lap run, Evan just really didn't have the speed or the tire to get around him like we thought he would. So seems like track position might be a little more important than we thought it was coming into tonight.
Yeah, and the top 5 remains unchanged. Or I should say top 4. Cody Rigg, Mark Cofield moves up to 5th. Smith, Janik, Honeycutt, and Honeycutt off pit road there. Folks, we're going to take just a moment to hear from our partners at Downtown Auto Sales, as well as Diesel Laptops, presenting partners of this series here for NSRLA. We'll be right back. You're not going to miss a moment at Green Flag Racing.
If you're shopping for dependable used cars in Cumming, Georgia, start with the team you can trust, Downtown Auto Sales, right at 208 Atlanta Road. They've got something for every driver, reliable daily commuters, family SUVs, even upscale luxury options, all priced fairly and backed by a 4.6-star Google rating. The staff is friendly, process is easy, and if they don't have exactly what you're looking for, their car locator service will track it down for you. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturdays until 4. Stop by or give them a call at 470-239-8979. Downtown Auto Sales. Quality cars, zero hassle. Is downtime costing your fleet money? And check out Diesel Laptops, the industry leader in diesel diagnostics since 2014. From rugged handheld scanners to mobile apps and full repair databases, they give you the tools to read the codes, run DPF regens, and fix issues fast on your phone, tablet, or laptop. Fix more, worry less, keep trucking. Visit diesellaptops.com.
Some of these drivers likely going to need to head to Downtown Auto Sales for a new car after this one, because It has been a wild evening. Several cars caught up in the carnage here on New Year's Day, but a lot of them are holding up like some of those diesel laptops. Two of those cars right now, Chris Smith and Tyler Honeycutt. Those are your front row drivers. The restart's going to work this way. Chris Smith, he's going to see that Echo Park green restart zone. When he enters it, it's on him to decide when to mash that throttle. He controls the restart. The cars have to go on him, not the flagman. So added component of a difficulty and strategy here for these drivers up front and in the back. We'll keep an eye on it and see if there are any stack ups. But Chris Smith sees the pace car weave their way down to the pit road, and we're green flag racing here once again. Smith brings us to the start of stage number 3, the final stage here in Charlotte. He's off cleanly once again. The battle's on for second. It's Janik and Tyler Honeycutt side by side. Janik in the red and blue, number 60. He's on the inside. Tyler Honeycutt on the outside, a little bit loose off the corner. He's got Honeycutt behind him, and then Christian Barnes makes his way to the inside to try to show a nose to Donnie Honeycutt.
Christian Barnes on the comeback trail. As you see the 54 get sideways into the wall. Donnie Honeycutt, a little bit of a victim there in the checkup. And that is one big mess coming across the start-finish line.
Mark Cofield, how he did not get into a couple other cars. He looked like he slid into a spot in a jigsaw puzzle, but we remain green nonetheless. Up front, the top two have gotten off quite well from the rest of the field. That's Chris Smith and that's Evan Janik. This is Chris Smith's first race in the series. Evan Janik's won the last two. The competition is stout here, and these two drivers showing everything they got. Oh, caution down the front straightaway. A couple cars in the wall. That's Brock Whiteman and Mark Cofield, possibly Joshua Thornton as well. We're under caution here on lap number 66.
And we saw that big mess a lap before, and it seems like it never got sorted out, as you see the Mark Cofield on the replay just getting a little loose off of turn 4. 41 Brett Whiteman nowhere to go.
Unfortunate set of circumstances. Sean, dare I say it, turn 4 strikes again.
Calamity corner, it's proven time and time again.
Calamity corner indeed. It's going to put us under caution here. Driver's going to have a moment to catch their breath. It's going to leave us with about 50 laps left in this race tonight. Over halfway. And Sean, I'll say it, we haven't reached that point where drivers are within their fuel window. So coming down pit road here might not really do you any good. I'd be surprised if we saw any drivers come down pit road. Looking for some other trivia potentially. Let's see.
I'd be surprised to see anybody head down pit road, but if we get enough of these yellow flags, they might be able to make it the whole way. You know, if it's caution after caution the whole rest of the way, I wouldn't be pitting for nothing.
Absolutely not. Let's do some more trivia, folks. We saw some of you are some NASCAR experts with that Fireball Roberts question. We got some other questions for you, some Charlotte Motor Speedway themed questions. Let's do this one. Question is, not Charlotte. To clear the site's heavy granite during construction in 1960, builders used $500,000 or $500,000 of what? Was it dynamite, the diamond tip drills, or surplus tanks?
Well, luckily you don't need to be much of a racing fan to figure that out. You got to be a construction guru.
We might have some of those
Out
in
of
the
my
chat.
depth
What
on
did
this
they?
one, yeah.
Yeah, what do they clear out that granite from the Speedway site with back in 1960? Let us know what you think the answer is in the chat. Dynamite, diamond tip drills, or surplus tanks? Can you imagine a tank rolling across the track here at Charlotte Motor Speedway? We got Connor says tanks. We got dynamite in the chat. Let us know what they cleared that granite out with.
I can't imagine a tank here at Charlotte because I'm pretty sure I've seen Bruton Smith drag one out here for the pre-race show a couple times on Memorial Day weekend. I've seen tanks, I've seen Apache helicopters, I've seen everything but a full-on invasion.
Why does it not surprise me that Bruton Smith dragged a tank out onto Charlotte Motor Speedway? That should surprise nobody. Again, a little bit of trivia here for you. Keep those comments coming. We got a lot of folks chiming in with their answers. We're giving away that Kyle Busch diecast to one lucky chatter in the race tonight. Keep those comments coming, folks. Also, let us know what your New Year's resolutions are. That's the question we've been asking everyone all night. We've heard some getting their I ratings up. We've heard some going to the gym, you and me both. But let us know what your New Year's resolutions or goals are. We got some drills in here as well. The diamond tip drills are a popular answer. Right now, Chris makes that left-hand turn to the inside on the choose rule lap here. 1 to go before we take the green flag. Coming to lap number 70 here, just 47 laps remaining. Sean, what do you think? What's your guess here?
I'm going to guess Dynamite. I like Dynamite. I think it's a very powerful explosive, and I think Granite is a pretty hard rock that you're probably going to need some Dynamite to take care of.
Dynamite is the correct answer, everybody. Dynamite is the correct answer. Good work for those of you who had Dynamite on your chat scorecard. A lot of folks got that one correct. We got some experts in the chat tonight. This might be the most correct answers in chat history I think I've seen for our trivia questions. I'm making them too easy. Right now, Chris Smith not making it easy on the field. He has led the majority of the race after starting from the pole tonight. And yeah, that's right. It's that Chris Smith. It's that guy that's usually alongside me in the booth, but he's taking us for a ride tonight here around Charlotte on New Year's Day. Wanted to mix it up a little bit. He's going to be coming to the restart here. We talked about, how fast the speeds are in a cool down track like we have tonight here at Charlotte. Colder weather, lights are on, sun is down, and I think if anything, these next 47 laps are going to be ones to watch. Chris Smith watches that pace car peel off. We're getting ready to go green flag racing once again. Smith leads him down. He gets away cleanly. The battle's on for second, though. Christian Barnes and Evan Janik, along with Adam Pettit, back in the top 4 for the first time in about 50 laps or so. Pettit showing some speed at the inside. Barnes climbs about a foot away from the outside wall. He's trying to hold on, but Tyler Honeycutt and Shane Bieber, Cody Riggs in that number 12.
See some great restarts out of Chris Smith, but this time around, Evan Janik going to go down to the inside in turns 3 and 4. Calamity Quarter is not going to bite these two this time around. We have a hot battle for the lead for the first time tonight between these two, but up front the whole time.
Janik and Smith side by side, trading blow for blow here. It's lap number 71 of 117 for the Downtown Auto Sales, race number 9. Right now they are dead even down the backstretch. That's Janik on the outside, Chris Smith on the inside. Pole sitter, second place qualifier, Ken Smith hold on to it, or will the outside line prevail? Does Janik have the momentum? Nothing showing there.
Still side by side. It could be anybody's race going down into turns 1 and 2. Janik a little bit of advantage, I'd say, using that high line, but Chris Smith is going to be one tough customer. Is going to wait that extra second to get back in the gas, and there is a dead heat coming down the backstretch. This thing might be decided with a caution flag at one point.
Absolutely. We talked really lap 82. 10 laps from now really is the window. If drivers can make it to that point and then come down pit road, they can make it the rest of the way on fuel. So they're looking to get into that pit window. Smith side by side. He's on the inside. Janik to the outside. We mentioned Janik has won the last 2 races, wanting to go 3 for 3 here in the past month. Can he do so? Trying to hold tight on the outside there. Sean, what does that outside line do to those tires over an extended period of time up there?
It tends to heat up that right rear a little bit more than the right front. I imagine Evans beating up his right rear a little bit more, and Chris Smith is going to be beating up that right front a little bit more. So it kind of just depends on how you drive the top line. There are guys that I know that run the top and don't use the right rear, so it's all very driver dependent. But
we mentioned Chris Smith kind of telling us in pre-race that the right front was going to be, really, if drivers were, like you mentioned, running on the inside, the right front was going to be the first to go, but on the outside, trying to sling it in there, that right rear could cause some loose conditions, and we've seen several drivers deal with that off of turn 4. Smith, for the first time in about 5 laps, leads cleanly with no competition, but suddenly that changes. Evan Janik swings it to the inside, and suddenly the roles have reversed. Janik is the driver on the inside, at least he was for a moment. Settles back about a car length now behind Chris Smith, who leads once again out in front of Evan Janik, but don't look now, Sean. Adam Pettit in that number 96 is stuck with these drivers. He's just about 4 car lengths off the back of Evan Janik.
Here we were about 20 laps ago questioning his strategy call, and here he is back up into the top 3 in a podium position. While these guys are racing side by side, he has been closing in about 2/10 quicker than both of the guys in front of him last time around. That 96, he might be a little bit of a sleeper pick here towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I definitely did not have him on my radar at all. We watched him really hound the back of Evan Janik here. This is a driver that we're seeing for the first time up front this season. They might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is Adam's first start of the season here at Charlotte, and he has come out with a bang this new year, really making a statement here as we watch other battles in the pack. I believe that was Brandon V's. That's a battle going on for the 9th position. V's and Harold Tucker doing a battle here. How about Harold Tucker getting a top 3, his best finish of the season at Bristol just a couple of weeks ago before the Christmas holiday, channeling that 3rd place podium finish into a 9th place run right now. Brandon V's, he's got something to say about that though on the outside. I don't think you can stick a sheet of paper between those two cars. Contact.
Oh, getting really tight there between Brandon V's and Harold. They're going to make more contact off of turn 1. Still, this battle is not going to resolve itself anytime soon.
Sean, I'm going to let actually.
Job done.
I was just saying my screen actually froze, potentially. I'm watching it, though, on the feed. So we'll continue on. I'll get my iRacing rebooted. It's been a great year for technical problems so far, hasn't it? We're starting out with a bang.
Off the
but you
ground
can see,
running.
Yeah, Evan Janik and Adam Pettit. That battle continues to just kind of fester here. Adam Pettit not going anywhere. If you're Evan Janik, how difficult is it to see a driver right behind you? And you can say the same thing about Donnie Honeycutt here. That driver looks incredibly close in the mirror. How distracting is that?
It's pretty distracting, especially if you know he's got a little bit of the pace to get around you. I'm sure Evan's thinking that right now after seeing that 96 close up so quickly. And I know that the confidence is going to be on board that 96 because he closed in so quickly. So he's going to be wanting to get around Evan Janik here pretty in the next couple laps just so he can start working on his way up to Chris Smith's back bumper.
And he looks to the inside there. You can see it. He's got the window open. Janik's going to leave it open there for him. Down to the inside. There he goes. Adam Pettit into the 2nd place. How hard will Janik fight on that outside line? We've seen him do it with Chris Smith. The answer is not much. Going to opt to probably hang on to those tires. And I think this might be a good opportunity. Cam in the booth, we got folks including you-know-who Connor Lyons. He's asking for a crank it up. Can we get some static cams here and hear these horses cranked up here on this cold track on New Year's Day? All right, we're working lap 83. You heard how large these cars are as they wind their way around this 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Watching Chris Smith lead the way here, and I'm wondering if we might not get a word with Chris Smith. I think he's in a pretty good spot for us to hear from him. Sean, I think we're going to see if we can move him in here, and feel free. Are you interested in talking to Chris, driver here?
I think you know him a little better than I do. I'm going to leave you to it because he's out there leading this race. I don't want to be that guy.
All right, Chris Smith, you got a copy from the Slingshot TV booth.
I got you.
Hey, well, Sean says he's too chicken to talk to you in the middle of the race. He's afraid he's going to distract you. But he gave me permission to ask you some questions as we ride on board here. How's this car handling right now? And feel free, if you're going to be making a pit stop soon, feel free to cut us off. But how's it handling halfway through this run or so?
It feels pretty good right now. You know, it's all just kind of like a game of chicken with how hard do you push the tires, but still trying to, you know, maintain pace, you know, and that's what I'm looking at right here. I can see Adam kind of reeling me in slowly right here. And, so maybe I have to pick it up just a little bit because you definitely don't want to give up track position in, in this race right here. It is very difficult to pass.
It does seem that way. High speeds and pack racing, but getting by the fellow driver, a little bit difficult here. We'll let you go in a second. What do you got to do to get the win tonight?
I think it's all going to come down to this pit stop right here. We've had a pretty caution-filled race here, and it's got a green flag look to it. I'm not trying to jinx it or anything, but some guys are probably going to pit right here as soon as we get into our windows. So we'll have to see how all that transpires right there. If we can kind of just maintain our track position and maintain where we're at, I think that we have some options right here possibly on this last pit stop as far as like when we do it.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye out for that strategy. Good luck the rest of the way. We're rooting for you.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Sir. All right, so you heard from Chris Smith.
Somebody out front leading the race.
Well, he's always called, but you got to hear him on the radio when we're together in the races, boy. he puts on a calm veneer or front, I guess, but I guarantee you right now he is working hard in that car, and it's showing. He's continuing to pull away from Janik a little bit. I know he thought Janik might be closing in on him, but that gap has really kind of stayed the same and kind of balanced out just a little bit. Further back in the field, the battles I'm watching, I'm looking at the number 12. How about Cody Riggs, Donnie Honeycutt, and Tyler Honeycutt back there? Run of the season. What is one of his first races, if not his first race, for Cody Riggs in that number 12 machine, sitting in the 5th position. Good run going. Good looking paint scheme too.
Great looking paint scheme. And I'd say kudos to that 22 car. We saw him hit the wall a couple laps ago pretty hard. He's been able to ride on with carry that damage, and he's still out there running in the 6th position, putting pressure on the guys in the top 5 as we see Cody Riggs tap the wall coming off of turn 2. It's going to give the opportunity to Donnie Honeycutt to get to the inside underneath him, and he's going to make the pass and get it done. Turns 3 and 4. We haven't seen that done in a long time, as he's going to have that 54. Tyler Honeycutt try to follow him by the 12 car. Really tight racing as we have somebody on pit road for the first time under green flag stops. It's going to be that 92 of Alex Pollock.
Yeah, the 92 of Alex Pollock is the first taker on pit road, and I do wonder, once you start seeing cars come down pit road, how much of a hand does that force? Because I do think that we are going to see, I'm just looking at, we're seeing roughly probably a 1.5 seconds of fall off, Sean. So I think there's time to be gained if you want to try to short pit here and go for the undercut. We watch another driver, I believe that's Christian Barnes, come down pit road. Sean, what do you make of the early pit strategy?
Undercut here has always been pretty powerful as the tire wear is pretty strong, but right now I think that Chris Smith is in a pretty comfortable position. He had 4 or 5 seconds over those guys before the pit stops were being made, so he's not under too much pressure to make that pit stop anytime soon, but he's going to have to start thinking about it now that those guys are down on pit road. They're going to be coming out, and they're going to be 2-3 tenths a second quicker every single lap that he stays out there.
Yeah, I think Alex Pollock is going to be the car that I'm keeping an eye on. He has been the first one to pit. Christian Barnes is as well, along with Harold Tucker and Gino Volante on his birthday, looking for the undercut here. And right now, those 4 cars have made their way down pit road, waiting for other takers potentially here on lap number 92. When will we see the leaders come down pit road? The answer is definitely not going to be this time, but we'll keep an eye on the rest of the field. Believe Andy Berry might be working his way down pit road, and that 21 pitting from the top 15 was Andy that time by.
I'd say that's a pretty good call there either way, to come down, get the field to make it to the end, and hope a caution does not come out. As long as you're out there on those fresher tires, you're going to gain on these leaders that are out there pulling away right now at the moment. So they're either pulling away or they're going to be closing back in. As we got somebody in the top 5, Adam Pettit coming down onto pit road. Cody Riggs is going to follow him. That's really going to put the pressure on that 17 of Chris Smith and Evan Janik to want to make that pit stop here pretty soon.
And it's really a gamble here. Drivers, the gain is with the short pit, you get those fresh tires and you're running faster lap times. But if a caution comes out, that leader essentially gets a free pit stop. and is going to have fresher tires. But not only that, you could be trapped a lap down. So it's really a devil's gamble here. And here comes Chris Smith. Could not wait any longer. The 17 cooks it down pit road. Did he make it? We're going to have to keep an eye on that number 17, the race leader, who came in hot down pit road right behind David Moore, but he brought the Honeycutts with him. Tyler and Donnie both coming down pit road here on lap number 95.
Chris Smith took a little bit of a different entry on pit road, was down on that apron a lot sooner than we saw the 96. It'll be interesting to see when he exits pit road here where he comes out relative to Andy Pettit.
Yeah, and Andy Pettit was second place when he pit. Andy Pettit working his way through turns 3 and 4 right now. Oh, Andy Pettit sideways. Can he get it gathered back up in what might have been the save of the race? And it certainly very well might have saved Andy Pettit's race here.
Alex Pollock taking advantage of that, getting around the 96, and here they come, coming off of turn 2, blending up onto the racetrack. It's going to be Chris Smith, but Alex Pollock, one of the first cars we saw on pit road. I said it, the undercut was going to be strong, and it sure was. We saw him go from outside the top 10 all the way up to the front. But one thing that we saw earlier, Ellis, was how he uses up those tires quicker than the other cars around him. Be very, very key if he can hold on to his stuff for over these last 20 laps.
And we are talking about this like it is a battle for the lead, and provisionally it is. But Evan Janik, Josh Thornton, Brett Bieber, Michael Wade, Michael Wade, those top 4 have not come down pit road yet. You're watching Thornton there in second. There is a Bieber, the 32 of Brett Bieber, I believe. David Moyer loose down the back straightaway there. Several cars still have not come down pit road. The first car to make their way down pit road, I believe, is actually Christian Barnes. Way ahead of Adam Pettit and Alex Pollock. So, but you mentioned it, Sean, the tire fade, the tire fall off. Barnes coming down much sooner than everybody else, 3 laps or so. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on.
Right now, Christian Barnes, he's got 5+ seconds over Andy Pettit in the 96 and Alex Pollock in the 92. That is a sizable gap. It has me almost thinking maybe he took 2 tires. Maybe he made a little bit of a strategy call there to try to get some more of a gap over these other racers.
I can tell you that
it's quite a bit to gain in such a short amount of time.
According to my charts, he did not take 2 tires. He took 4 tires. I'm looking at the pit stop. He actually had a 1/10 of a second slower pit stop than Chris Smith. So, my goodness, the fall off, the undercut, massive swing there for Christian Barnes. 14.7 pit stop. Chris Smith had a 14.6 pit stop. So, he just got on and off pit road that well, it would seem.
Well, I'd say kudos to him. Great job by him to take advantage of that situation. Was the first car on pit road. And with only 3 laps separation between him and guys like Christopher Smith and Adam Pettit, 3 laps is not that much of a difference. It'll be very, very crucial for him to keep that car underneath him and keep the lap times nice and consistent to make sure that the 17 and the 96 do not catch him.
Yeah, and just looking at the charts right now, Joshua Thornton making his way down pit road. These drivers are catching those cars that have not come down pit road yet. So I'm looking at lap times. And if we're looking at lap times, Evan Janik also, you can see him. He came down pit road. Has not come down pit road yet. He's staying out. But I'm looking at lap times. We're kind of following that battle right around 4th, 5th, and 6th. Christian Barnes was a 37, Adam Pettit was a 34, and Chris Smith was a 33. So Smith has the speed over Christian Barnes as he works his way to get his lap back the hard way here. And I would say that's a pretty important moment for Chris Smith as well as the other leaders who had just gotten their lap back. Evan Janik working his way down pit road. That is your leader coming down pit road. And that will have put every single car except Brett Bieber on pit road tonight in what we believe will be their final stop. A big old gaggle of cars. This going on around 6th position. A big wad of cars. That's, I believe, Cody Riggs, Donnie Honeycutt, Tyler Honeycutt, and Alex Pollock. How nervous does that make you if you're in that pack, Sean?
I'm not too nervous. You've been racing tight all night. You guys should be pretty used to it by now.
And you can see just how tight the racing has been. This is no different than we've seen much of the evening. The only difference is, if you're just joining us, 14 laps left here from Charlotte. Chris Smith has led the majority of the race, but your vision is correct. If you see him on fourth on the scoreboard, roughly about 6 seconds back, that is because he lost a couple of spots on pit road when drivers came down before him. Got Goodyear tires that were a little bit fresher, a little bit faster. Brett Bieber, penalty speeding on pit road for Brett Bieber, but great call, Cam. Battlebox shows that Chris Smith is getting closer and closer to Adam Pettit. That battle is going to be an intense side-by-side battle in what we believe will be a lap or two or even less, because Chris Smith is on rails right now.
With so many laps to go, almost 13 laps to go. Last time around, Chris Smith 7/10 of a second quicker than Christian Barnes out front. The math serves me right. He's going to get there before the end of this race. And Adam Pettit also carrying that speed. He was 7/10 quicker than Christian last time around as well. So these guys are closing in. That 5-second lead is now down to about 2.5 seconds in that 27 car. I don't think that strategy might work out for him, but right now it's anybody's race.
Tip of the cap, though, to Christian Barnes. I know we've got some Barnes fans in the chat. That was a gutsy call, and it's a call that's probably going to put him in a top 3 or 4th place finish here if he isn't able to hang on to the win. And like our friend Larry and DW say, catching them's one thing, but passing them is another. And Chris Smith trying to get his way by and pass Adam Pettit. The second place car now is Chris Smith. He's setting his sights 1.5 seconds behind Christian Barnes. He's got just over 10 laps left to make it happen. We're coming to lap 107 of 117. It's going to be a 10-lap dash. Can Smith catch Barnes and steal the win away in the closing moments?
That lead is now down to about 1.5 seconds, and it is going down every single set of corners, 2-3 tenths. Right now, I'd say this is Chris Smith's race to lose, but he has to get the job done. He has to get to the back of the 27 and have enough tire when he gets there to get around him.
And you mentioned it, catch it. The tire is the thing we got to think about here. Chris Smith is using every ounce of tire he's got to try to get to Christian Barnes. How much is Barnes using? Is he saving a little bit in the tank? He's got about 4 laps older tires than Chris Smith, so he's got a disadvantage on tires, but has he managed to save any?
I would be.
Maybe a moment there. Very close racing.
And with the gap in lap time that we have seen over the last couple laps, you have to almost assume that he is saving tires. Because 7/10 is a whole lot of there's a big delta for 4 laps. But right now, I think the times are proving us wrong as we see Chris Smith pulling up to the back bumper of the 27. I'd say this job is going to be done in the next lap and a half.
And that's what our battle box says as well, about a lap difference or before we see Chris Smith to the back bumper of Christian Barnes. Will Barnes have anything left in the tank to hold off Chris Smith, who swings wide, climbs the banking in that number 17 machine to look to the outside of Christian Barnes? No going there, but he gets a run as he acres it off the corner there. Barnes to the inside, Smith to the outside. They're going to have to be careful not to have contact. Barnes looking for any tool he's got left in the toolbox to hold off a hard-charging Chris Smith here on lap 110. 7.5 laps left from Charlotte.
He could have all the tools in the world, but he's going to need some of that dynamite we talked about earlier to take care of that 17 as he makes the pass done, and he gets it done quite easily around the outside. But is the 96 saving just a little bit himself? Is he able to clear Christian Barnes in this lap car that's in the mix? Is he able to get around these two and apply the pressure back to Chris Smith?
Yeah, that's what I was also curious to talk about. We've talked about Adam Pettit all night long. I was calling him Andy Pettit, the great Yankees pitcher earlier. Not Andy Pettit, but Adam Pettit. Does he have a little bit left here? He stayed with Chris Smith relatively well here in this final run, but he's in front of or behind 2 cars that are making it incredibly difficult to get by. So any chance he has, Sean, is slowly slipping away here. Adam Pettit doing everything he can to get by Christian Barnes, now trying the outside. Chris Smith has just 5.5 laps left if he is to get the win here at Charlotte.
Yeah, I understand Christian Barnes kind of making it a little difficult for position, but this lap car kind of needs to, get with the program and maybe get out of the way of these guys racing for the win, the top 5.
That lap car we're speaking about, Michael Wade, on very fresh tires right now, is gapped second and third place. And there you see it, Adam Pettit to the inside, Christian Barnes to the outside. That's a battle going on about a second behind leader Chris Smith, though, who has set sail on the field, coming to now just 4 laps to go. We're coming to lap 114 of 117.
Close racing there. The 96 had the move done and could have came up on the 27 off of turn 2, but he showed to that respect and gave the lane to Christian Barnes, waited that extra corner, and got it done easily. As here comes that 22, your points leader, Donnie Honeycutt, making his presence known here at the very end. What a race out of him if he was able to come back after hitting the wall, carrying that damage, and able to come up here and finish in the top 3.
Yeah, that's an incredible run, and that shows you exactly why Donnie Honeycutt in that 22 is the points leader. Consistency, grit, and perseverance has really pushed that 22's campaign all season long, and right now it's just a 3-4 lap campaign left here for Christopher Smith. 3 laps to go, I should say, at Charlotte. Smith doesn't want to see a caution at this point. A caution could put Adam Pettit right back into the clutches of Chris Smith potentially, or vice versa, I should say. Smith's got a mirror full of Michael Wade, though. I know Wade's probably not going to apply really much pressure here, but still, it's another factor Chris Smith has to deal with now with just 2 laps left.
If I was Chris Smith, I would consider just letting this 16 car by. You don't know who you're racing with sometimes, and you don't want to see that 16 make a mistake trying to pass the leader for no reason. But he also doesn't want to give up any sort of track position, knowing that 96 is coming up quick. But next time around, it's going to be white flag, and I don't think it's going to be an easy decision after that point.
The whiplash white flag is in the hands of the flagman. White flag is out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Chris Smith 1.5 miles away from his first victory of the season and his very first race of the season in that Slingshot TV number 17 machine. He'll have to clear the lap car of David Moyer, who ducks it down to the bottom of the backstretch. Chris Smith now half a lap away from the win here at Charlotte. No more cautions will dictate the conclusion of this race. Chris Smith, he started on the pole. He started first, and he's going to win it. He'll finish first in Charlotte on New Year's Day. Second's going to be Adam Pettit, Donnie Honeycutt, and Christian Barnes.
Well, I'd say these guys out here in this race, in this series, week to week, they might feel a little duped by us broadcasters coming up here and putting on the show like Chris Smith did here tonight. He signed up for it, and he made it look easy.
He made it look easy indeed. He is your winner. We're, of course, going to hear from him. We're going to hear from the rest of the top 3. But before we do that, we got some other business to take care of. Gage Grinnell says, good win for Chris. Well, Gage, we got news for you. Good win for you. You've won the Kyle Busch Diecast tonight. Our email address is in the chat right now. Email us at ssracingleagues@gmail.com to claim that prize as we watch Chris Smith burning it down as he has claimed the top prize tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Adam Pettit. Boy, Sean, 2 drivers in the first 2 starts of the season, first and second tonight, putting on a clinic for these regular season standards that we've seen all season long, including Donnie Honeycutt, points leader, who gets that podium finish. You mentioned that earlier. We'll go ahead and see if we can't bring in Chris Smith into the broadcast booth momentarily, but we're going to hear from the top 3, third and second first. Let's see if we can find Donnie Honeycutt. Here he is. Donnie Honeycutt, driver number 22, points leader here in the Downtown Auto Sales Series. It's it's Ellis and Sean and Cam here in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, Ellis, I got you.
Oh, man, you know where Chris is, but you talk about just a gritty race tonight, man. Trouble early on, but you were able to just persevere all night long, and including making that last lap pass on Christian Barnes to get third place. Talk to us about just how difficult it was and how tense it was. Lots of energy, chaotic energy out on the track tonight with these cold temps.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you said, I had trouble one time on the cold tires there. I got a little loose, overcorrected a little bit, got into the wall. Luckily, everybody behind me did good, didn't power drive me. So I appreciate all those guys. But yeah, like I said, all in all, a pretty good race. I wish we had a lot less cautions and a lot more green flag runs there. But I was better on the long runs and really didn't get a chance to save the tires like I wanted to. But that last run there, wasn't too bad. Like I said, we got to do a green flag pit stop and had a little bit of strategy there when we was going to pit. But I knew I had a little bit fresher tires on the guys in front of me, but just not enough time to catch them, pass them.
Well, man, you did a heck of a job. You got 4 races, now 3 races left in the regular season. You're all but guaranteed a playoff berth. I'm pretty sure you've clinched your playoff berth. How does it change kind of what do you got to do if you're going to win this championship? Because I think it's fair to maybe even start talking about that halfway through the season, coming up on the playoffs. Does your way of racing change? You've been kind of Mr. Consistency, but do you start going after wins and racing a little bit more aggressively for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Once you get to the playoffs, everything's changed a little bit. You still want good finishes and good top 5 runs. Like I said, been pretty consistent throughout the season. But yeah, I think some getting some wins and is going to help out a lot.
Well, man, we got Milwaukee and Iowa next 2 races on the schedule. I know you won Rockingham. I know they're not the same track, but 2 kind of short tracks, especially with Iowa, similar to Rockingham in some ways. What do you make of your chances in those next 2 races?
Yeah, Milwaukee, I run okay there. Haven't really had a lot of good luck there, but Iowa, I feel like I have a little bit more, a little chance of running a little better there. Like you said, it's not exactly like Rockingham, but it is a short track, and I usually do run pretty decent on short track, so I feel like I got a good shot there.
Well, man, we'll be looking out for you at Milwaukee next week. We'll go let you celebrate New Year with a podium finish. That's Donnie Honeycutt. Before we let you go, though, any shout-outs?
Yeah, absolutely. All my friends, my family that watches every broadcast, every race you do. You guys are doing the broadcast. I really love going back watching you guys. And then Downtown Auto Sales sponsoring the league here, and all the admins, the owners do a really good job, and including the race control there. He's got a heck of a job, and he does really good too. So just appreciate all the guys and just enjoying it.
All right, man. As they say, it takes a village. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next week in Milwaukee.
All right.
All right, Sean, we heard from 3rd place. Now we're going to, I believe you've caught up with our 2nd place finisher, Adam Pettit.
Yes, sir.
Adam Pettit in the 96. You got a copy, buddy?
I got you guys.
First race in the league, started back there in the 20th position and drove yourself all the way up to the front and made your presence known tonight. What are your overall thoughts after taking part in this race for the first time tonight?
Had a lot of fun. Once we got going green there and could really, use tires and, strategy and all that kind of stuff. A lot of fun. Great group of guys. Looking forward to coming back next week.
That's awesome to hear, man. You were the first person we saw tonight that was able to get up there and challenge Evan Janik and Christopher Smith for the lead. When that strategy played out in that 3rd stage there, what was your thoughts leading into the pit stop, and did you think the undercut was going to work out?
Honestly, I did, and it probably would have been a better race with me and Chris, but on my out lap, coming out of 4, I just goosed it too much and did a 4-wheel drift around turn 4, and obviously killed some time, killed some tires, and all that kind of stuff. But rallied to finish 2nd, and definitely happy with that.
Most definitely. It was very impressive to watch you go out there and wheel your 96 car around tonight. Next week we have Milwaukee followed by Iowa. Any prior experience at those types of racetracks, and do you think you might have something for these guys heading into those weekends?
No, not really. I like 1.5 miles in the Xfinity car. Milwaukee being a flat track, not really my forte. Iowa's fun. It depends upon which one we're going to, the new one or the old one. But either way, like I'm kind of out here just kind of getting a feel for the league. Like I said, don't want to ruffle too many feathers. Being a new guy, knowing that playoffs are coming and all that kind of stuff. So don't really want to get into all that kind of mess. So just gonna kind of go out there, learn the league. learn the car a little bit more. I haven't been in this in about a year now, and just looking out to kind of just have some fun.
Well, you looked like a pro out there tonight. Congratulations on your second place run and your first start. We look forward to seeing you up here racing for the wins and racing for top fives up here in the future, and maybe even a championship come next season.
That is the plan. That is hopefully going to be the goal going into 2026.
And congratulations to you. I'm going to send it back over to Ellis. He's going to be with your big winner tonight, Chris Smith. And these two have a lot of history with each other. They can go over all the craziness that happened tonight.
Well, you're absolutely right. Good win or good second place, Adam. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully. We'll pull in Chris Smith here. Chris Smith, tell us, Sean, Cam in the Slingshot booth, you got a copy.
I got you.
Well, first of all, congratulations on getting that win. Kind of a moment there towards the end of the race where Christian Barnes leapfrogged you on that pit strategy, and we were wondering how he got so far ahead. Was that just the undercut and just the impact of those fresh tires?
Yeah, I think he came to pit road about 6 or 7. Not trying to make a joke here. Laps in front of me. I had to get one in. Yeah, and that was just a big advantage right there for him. And I knew that I felt like we had enough pace there to catch him, but I wasn't sure when. I knew it was going to be fairly close. And so I started driving probably a little too hard to catch him. And Adam, I think Adam had like 1 or 2 laps older tires than me, so he and I were really, really close. But he cut me a break in traffic there, and I really do appreciate that. And yeah, it just worked out. I probably used up a little too much right front. If we would have had a caution, and I would have had to have stayed out, I might have been in trouble right there because we used a good bit of it up, but it worked out, and can't complain too much about bringing home a victory tonight.
We kind of mentioned the anticipation of that final green flag pit stop. You looked like you came in hot from my angle. Was it at all feeling close on pit road on that final green flag pit stop, or was it all calm inside the car?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, my roll speed in was pretty hot. I would say I probably started slowing down on the banking a little too soon. So I kind of felt like I had to make up a little bit there on the entry. And I also knew that it's going to be a very small margin for error because Adam was my closest competition on the previous run. And I know he came to pit road like a lap or 2 before I did. So I was like, man, if I want to be close to him, because I felt like he was the one I was going to have to race for the win. I didn't know where Christian was going to shake out and all that. I felt like if he was the one I was going to race for the win, I had to be, I had to maximize my time or minimize my time, I guess you would say, on pit road right there to make that happen. So, it was maybe a little bit too quick, but we made it work.
Man, you did more than make it work tonight. You were incredibly fast. What was it like racing out there with those guys that we watch from the booth every single week?
It was great. I had a great time racing with them on the initial. I don't think it was the initial start. I think it was the one after that. Evan got by me in stage 1. And then, Christian Barnes and I raced side by side, and that was a heck of a battle right there. I kind of got to his outside and, tried to, it's just, you can trust those guys, and got to his outside and, race him pretty hard right there. And then, kind of did a little pit strategy deal there at the end of stage 1 and got that track position back. And I think they're in the final stage. Evan and I had a heck of a battle for the race lead. And that's just another situation right there where, I was racing him pretty hard. And he was racing pretty hard as well. And I just knew that I could trust him because I see him every single week. And, just like a lot of these guys. And it was just fun to get out there and to, mix it up with them and sort of see the action from a little bit different perspective, because you've done this and Sean and Cam do as well. When you're in the booth and then when you're on the track, it just presents, everything in just a very, very different light. So it was fun, and I really appreciate them letting me come out and do this tonight.
Man, we had a blast watching you and the rest of those drivers on New Year's Day, starting out the new year with a great run, a win here. Before we let you go celebrate, any shout-outs?
Well, first off, I want to shout out everybody at Slingshot TV, especially you, Ellis, for all your hard work and everything that you put into it. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Appreciate Sean for filling in for me tonight in the booth. He always does a great job, and Cam as well, producing, also does a great job as well. So appreciate all you guys and all of our commentary and production teams, that broadcast every single week. It's going to be a busy weeks starting up next week. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to give a shout out to everybody here at NSRLA, Downtown Auto Sales, all the league sponsors. Special shout out to the admins for, like I said, letting me come and do this tonight. Give a shout out to my mom and dad if they are still up and watching at home. For everybody, all the drivers here for putting on a great show tonight and having a great race.
All right, man. Well, it's a pleasure watching you out there. We'll look forward to having you back in the booth. We'll miss Sean, but we'll look forward to having you. Sean, I believe, is going to be calling some races here for Slingshot Racing League on the channel coming up in a couple of weeks. So it'll be fun to watch him as well. Yeah. Yep. So we'll let you go celebrate that win, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Sounds good. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. All right, Sean, it was a fun race. Got to see one of our guys take home the victory tonight. Doesn't happen very often, at least when we're calling these races. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the rest of the running order as they ran at Charlotte in the NSRLA Downtown Auto Sales race number 9. You can see the results there. Chris Smith, Adam Pettit, Donnie Honeycutt. Those are your top 3. Christian Barnes finished 4th. A tough, gritty finish tonight for a driver that really pulled a strategy call that almost got him the win. Tyler Honeycutt finishes inside the top 5. And how about Cody Riggs? Best finish of the season. He finishes 12th. Alex Pollock, some interesting strategy calls tonight. Gets him into the 7th, one of his best finishes of the season. Harold Tucker, back-to-back top 10s after a 3rd place at Bristol. He's 8th tonight. Evan Janik, boy, something happened to Evan Janik there in the final part. Sean, what happened?
Just waited a little bit too long. The pit came down, took 4 tires. He was the fastest car on track, but he had just too much ground to gain over the last 10 laps and got himself back up to 9th, but a little bit of a fumble on the strategy on Evan's part. But at some point, you have to do something different.
Yep, he did something different. He gets a top 10, though. Joshua Thornton also early troubles, but settles it down and gets to the 10th place finish tonight. I'll let you take the rest of the top 20.
Andy Berry's going to come home in the 11th position. Brandon V's in the 12th. Jerry Salidas coming home in 13th. And Ryan Bittler is going to be the last car on the lead lap and 14th. Michael Wade, we saw him up there racing with the leaders towards the very end. He's going to be the first car, 1 lap down in 15th. Gino Volanti, lots of trouble out of him tonight, but he still managed to bring home 16th place. Roy Sprague in the 17th position. David Moyer in 18th after getting into a couple wrecks himself. And Brett Bieber, 19th. Brock Whiteman is going to finish 52 laps down, but he's going to come home with the top 20 finish.
Brock Whiteman fast early, I should say, but had trouble. All of these cars were going over through 29th or 28th, should say 27th. Had trouble. Mark Cofield fast early on, really running inside the top 6, got top 7, got involved in a race incident midway through. Travis Bieber also fast, has to settle for 23rd, getting caught up in trouble. Tyler Merkel, 22nd. 24th, Stephen Gill. Vincent Short with that hard head-on hit. Halfway down the backstretch, finishes 25th. And Jacob Cochran, a driver that we expected to see up front tonight, but had his fair share of trouble that he got collected in, finishes 26th. Tyler Hensley finishes 27th, and that number 53. Folks, it was a great race tonight, and we've got more great racing coming up, really not only next week, but multiple nights a week coming up here in just a couple of weeks. We've got Milwaukee next Thursday for NSRLA, And then the week after, we start 2 new series with Slingshot Racing League on Mondays. We've got a late model series that's going to be broadcasting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Wednesdays, it is the Xfinity Series, the Grand National Series for Slingshot Racing that's going to be racing every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to have some great crews covering all the action. We'll do more giveaways. We'd love to hear from y'all in the chat every single race, just like we did tonight. Had a great chat tonight, Sean. Lots of folks chiming in. And maybe our smartest crew I think we've seen so far, if the trivia participation and correctness is to be believed. So what are your takeaways from tonight, Sean? Were you glad not to be out of the track, or were you longing to get in that car and work your way around this 1.5 mile track?
Well, that first half of the race, I was pretty glad I was up here in the booth, but that we had a lot of incidents out there for the first couple stages. But that third stage went clean and green the whole rest of the way, which was very surprising, but nice to see. And we got this race wrapped up pretty quickly there towards the end. And, I kind of wished I was out there to give the 17 maybe a little bit of a run for his money, but was pretty entertaining from start to finish. We had great battles for the lead between Chris and Evan, and some unexpected guys running up towards the front with Adam and Christian Barnes with that late race strategy, making it interesting. Was quite a race that we had out there tonight. Very entertaining from start to finish. I'm glad I was here for it.
Oh, man, we were glad that you're here. We're going to be glad for you to join us in the booth on that Wednesday night Slingshot Racing League Xfinity, or I should say O'Reilly Series, coming up here in a couple of weeks. You'll get to see just how bad I am out on the track with that 900 IR. Just kidding.
Can't wait.
It's not 900, I promise. So I think that's going to do it for tonight. Great race, great start to the year, folks. We hope you enjoyed your start to the year by tuning in here to Slingshot TV on New Year's Day. Folks, we'll catch y'all next week at the Milwaukee Mile. Folks, have a great new year. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Bye for now.